with myself, or Betty on the go. Right now, Beyond Incredible with Shay Rochelle, and of course, Jock Talk with Brett Hedges. And of course, we love everybody to watch us live, and that's when we see us live, we try to get that viewership up. But please be a subscriber to our YouTube channel right there on the back screen. Take a look, okay, and subscribe to us. We're kind of cruising right on. We're almost up to about 30,000 total views, so that's excellent. So if you want to see a part of the show, or you want to see it again, you want to review it again, go to YouTube, of course, and you'll be able to see the best local program again in Windsor, Essex, with XD's TV, of course, with the Convergence Report. And of course, we do stay social media based live. Like us on Facebook, whether or not you like Knox from Digital Media on Facebook, of course, like Mike Thomas on Facebook, as we really try to pump it up, put everything up, and keep everything up on the social media side of it. And again, please take a look at us on Facebook. And really and truly, this is really my show is developed. It kind of started as only part of the show, but now it's developed into the main part of the show, and really it's Facebook Karma, or I saw that, and I kind of use Facebook as the main ploy to it, but it's all social media at the end of the day. It's about Twitter, it's about what's out there, and I kind of scan through everything to try to find the best of what's happening on social media and bringing it back to you so that you could see it through all the social media veins. So again, it's not so much the thought police, although I'm not going to talk about it too much today. But again, I'm going to call it Big Brother and the Thought Police. I think they got somebody again yesterday. You're not on screen yet, but got somebody yesterday on the airplane itself. Somebody tweeted something and got kicked off the airplane. So remember, Big Brother's always watching you anymore. I thought that was really neat. But that'll be more. I'll take that more in depthly next week on the show. Okay. Today or tonight on the Convergence Report, I am talking to the company or a couple of the individuals from Daedas. Okay, our company. I'm going to ask for titles for a minute, but I have Paolo, Piunno, and I have Naiel, Samaan. Okay, and so what are your titles within the initial company, and then we'll get into the rest of it after that.
All right. Well, Naiel and I. First of all, I'd like to thank you for having us on the show today.
Oh no, that's not.
We're really excited. This is great, but. I want to introduce myself and Naiel as two of the three co-founders. The other one, I don't know if the screen's in the shot here, which camera we're on, but this is our third co-founder, Brad Coulthurst, and one of our programmers, Matt Coulthurst, who's not able to be here with us tonight. But for myself, I'm working as the president and CEO of the company.
Oh, very good.
And Naiel here.
I'm the director of research and development.
Okay, excellent. Oh, that sounds fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to start right off the bat. So how long has the company been? How long have you put this together, like from the beginning to where you're at now, just to get the company going? So how did this all come about?
So this company all started out actually originally as part of our research. And our team here, we're a group of engineers and computer scientists. We've all studied at the University of Windsor. And officially, we started out in January of 2013 with the company Daedas. Before that, we had all been doing research in our respective fields and getting a lot of business concepts and ideas together. And it wasn't until we really met that we started to develop the concept out and start to focus on what today Daedas's vision is, energy management and conservation. So that started out in January 2013, and we've been iterating through different products and experimenting with different markets as a startup ever since.
Okay, and so why was energy conservation selected? Is that I'm not saying it, like green's been out there for a while, so how'd you pick that over anything else?
Well, we landed on energy conservation and specifically the energy field. Paolo did his master's research in energy management at the University of Windsor. But beyond that, I studied environmental engineering and Brad computer science. So together we decided to sort of form all of our intelligence and sort of like our understanding of the field and tackle a real problem that's actually an issue in this world today.
Okay, yeah, because as we've been, whether or not it's global warming or trying to reverse that trend, okay, is that what you're trying to help, or just trying to help we'll talk about the app in a minute, but everyday people managing the resources better?
And that's exactly it. It's about awareness and engagement. So we really want people to be aware about how they're consuming energy and what kind of impact that has on the planet as a whole. Daedas as a whole and each of our products are really social enterprise style, where we're operating on three primary pillars, and those pillars are people, profit, and planet. And really honing in the paramount pillar, the biggest part of our foundation is actually the planet and how we as humans have an effect on the planet that we live on.
Okay, I see. So, and I do follow this kind of stuff. My daughter actually has comes from a nutrition or dietitian nutrition background, and I was kind of almost laughing the other day because I come from the plastic age, right? And she was talking about it was almost for her having a water bottle as a nutritionist, that she had to almost start to avoid that because of the what people's perception now is that's a bad thing. Okay, so
Absolutely.
trying to control that, to try to change the mentality on how, I'm going to say bad plastics are, or how ungreen plastics are. So,
Definitely.
okay.
And we really view all of these aspects, like you said, it's from a health standpoint, it's from a feel-good standpoint, it's from an environmental standpoint, longevity and sustainability. Our view unanimously is about sustainability on a holistic level. So we're focused on energy management, and that's the aspect that we're really tackling as a company. We realize that holistically, your lifestyle really has to reflect your day-to-day decisions.
And I just want to add on top of that, it's small habits day-to-day that we're sort of targeting. It's not capital-intensive habits, but at the same time, these small habits could have an effect on your wallet. Your daughter buys water bottles, but why is she paying for a water bottle instead of using the tap and just using a reusable water bottle from a day-to-day basis? Why are you paying more for water than you would be paying for gas? I mean, if you buy a water bottle from the store, from a convenience store at $1 per amount, it's actually more than the amount that you're actually putting in your car, your gasoline. So that still
rings true. I did see that statistic before, but that still rings true, right?
Yes,
how expensive it is actually for convenience.
Yeah,
exactly.
Convenience store water is coming out of like $2 a liter, right? And we're in the 120s and 130 range for gasoline, and so that kind of pain at the pump, it's easy to ignore. But whereas you're paying a couple cents per cubic meter, so a couple cents per 1,000 liters of water out of the tap, and it's perfectly safe and potable water.
Well, that's the question I wanted to bring up, because I was researching this a few years ago. Actually, I saw the movie Thirst, which actually brought up the whole concept or idea or the bad perception of tap water. That's we just brought it up. Okay, I think people need to know that tap water is okay.
It's actually, and I want to add on that. I did most of my research in university on water and wastewater treatment, and with that, our region as a whole, Windsor-Essex, has some of the best tap water in the country. Based on our sort of disinfection practices, we do phenomenal work on cleaning up our water bodies. And we have scientists and sort of wastewater treatment managers from around the world coming to Windsor-Essex to vouch for the system and trying to bring it back to their municipalities, because that's how advanced our water treatment is.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
One other aspect that I wanted to add on to that, in addition, the impact that a water bottle actually has, for instance, using that as one of the many examples that we try and focus on. But oftentimes when you walk into a convenience store and you pick up a bottle, you don't really think about the fact that the bottle had to be produced, the energy and the waste that went into that process. The shipping and distribution is something that we very easily disregard when we're making these types of purchases. But as you go forward, even walking into your local coffee shop, bringing your reusable mug and giving it a quick rinse when you get home and when you're done with it, or when you get to the office and you're finished up with it, it really makes a difference. Making the paper cups, distributing them, bringing them back to the refinery process and recycling process. And even though these cups are being recycled, those are all energy intensive and waste producing processes that we can easily avoid just by using a reusable container. So that's one of the many tasks that we endorse.
Okay. So let me as you just how long out of university? Just how long you 1 year, 2 year?
Now I'm coming up on almost 2 years now.
Almost 2 years now. So I'm going generational now. What is the overall feeling in your generation of youth? Because like I come from, there was none.
Yeah.
Okay, and then boom, plastics and everything. And I saw the transition, and I was from the throwaway age of. I was from the throwaway age of McDonald's, like throwing up the containers out the window.
Well, there you go. Well, that's something that we haven't seen in a long time.
So we went right to the end. We're trying to bring it back, and they thought the best way to do it was convenience. Again, a kind of a different type of convenience. So what is your journey? How do they look at it? Are they embracing the idea?
I think people's awareness on their environmental impact, just because the world is so small now. We have social media and we have different types of news outlets and whatnot that we're able to get information so quickly now. And we're educated on these aspects of environmental harm and damage. So our generation, I feel, has a fairly good understanding of the effects of these types of damage. What we're trying to offer and what Daedas is trying to build up is, again, the awareness and engagement. So people can take that awareness on the types of effects that our decisions on a day-to-day basis have, but then actually engage with it and make a difference. Change up your behavioral habits and go forward and try to do things that are actually a little bit more environmentally conscious and definitely sustainable.
Okay, and again, I'm not taking away from Balloo. We'll talk about that in a minute. But what, are you looking at planning on getting interactive in the school system with or workshops or seminars? Is that your bigger picture, your bigger plan for education, or more online?
Yeah, originally what started out, we actually have an education product online right now that will help people. There are modules available online. It's called the APCEM. And that can be found actually at uwindsor.ca/energy course. And it's a partnership with the University of Windsor and the Engineering Institute of Canada. And what that actually offers up to users is the ability to learn about, not necessarily at this point on the waste side of things from a material standpoint, but more of the waste on an energy consumption, energy conservation standpoint on an industrial and institutional level, and commercial as well. And one of the things that you had mentioned there actually as we were kind of talking about the education aspect and engaging this in the schools, as we were going through the process of evaluating the institutional side of things and how institutions are using energy, we visited quite a few grade schools and high schools in the area.
Oh, okay, very good.
And we actually found that there are some really interesting programs that are supported by the schools and the school board, the utility companies that are helping students actually learning from the ground up. And that's one thing that we've really found to be one of the most effective tools. If students and youth can be engaged with these principles at a very early age, they actually have a really great opportunity, and the probability of them actually continuing that out of school increases substantially, and that's where we're seeing a lot of gains.
Even in our generation, we didn't really have as many groups and organizations within high school and even grade school, but walking through the high schools nowadays, you see environment teams and energy teams that just go around and closing off lights and turning off lights or making sure certain things are up to spec.
Would that have,
sort of like help the environment?
Does that have, like say in the Windsor area, just for an example, Windsor Essex area, has that grown because of the David Suzuki School, that type of formula?
I think it's a complete generational shift, to tell you the truth. It's just media on a mass scale has completely put it into this generation that's coming up. The environment is a huge part of their lives, and they don't want to grow up in a wasteland. It was going towards that for a really, really long time, and then people, I think, just grew up and sort of realized.
And again, that's kind of funny because of the changes they thought they made. And I'm going to go to the McDonald's containers with the fluorocarbons and everything, and throwing them out the window, and it was litter. It was the litter age is basically what it was. And when they went to convenience and plastic and saying, okay, well, we're not going to throw this out. We're going to bring it home. We're going to do this, and then we're going to recycle it. So it should all be good. And then it's turned out to be not as grand as it was originally. The original concept was.
And really interesting point about that, the litter aspect. We talk about things on a holistic, global level where we're saying there are a lot of impacts that you can have environmentally, but really from a very fundamental principle. When we think about it today, and you'll agree, like you said, you were a participant in that type of activity, and now just the thought of having garbage polluted all over your city. One aspect, I guess, as population density continues to increase, if we all did that still, we'd see quite a difference, right? The number of cars on the road at that time was far fewer than it is now.
Yep. Absolutely.
So if we're looking at the number of cars and every person just throwing one piece of garbage, the Riverside Drive would be completely a landfill in a way, and it would be a really disgusting place to live. So beyond all the other aspects, just on a visual appearance and aesthetics kind of point of view, I think those kind of decisions have made themselves obvious, and now we're finding more and more reasons of why we shouldn't live in that way.
Go ahead. And I just want to add, beyond sort of physical waste, though, water and electricity waste, only now, like, people are starting to realize that energy costs are going up, and they're only going to go up from here. In the next 3 years, 33% we expect, and even 5 years,
I watch the bills. I have a larger home, and I've seen the difference. Mm-hmm. I've seen the difference. And out of a regular home budget, okay, 33% is a significant amount of money for any regular home budget.
Absolutely. And that's over the next 3 years. That's
just starting now.
Yeah.
Like the hikes that we've seen so far is not even included in that 33%. that's being projected for the type of increases that we're going to
And
see.
I just want to add, this is not a Windsor-Essex problem or even an Ontario problem. It's a worldwide problem that's happening right now, and we're trying to combat that. And with your help and with the people's help, hopefully we could.
Oh, very good. Okay, good. Okay, so to keep on going, and I want to talk. I'm going to bring this up. We'll talk. But I need you to explain to me, and I say Balloo. Okay. What is this? What is this? And I talked to Paolo before about this. You're looking at somebody that I'm getting better. Okay, but I am appless.
Appless, yeah, for
okay,
sure.
So now hapless, appless. Okay, so please explain first what an app is.
First of all, I want to ask you if we can maybe grab that soundbite later on. The way you said Balloo was just perfect. So we want to get the Balloo name and the Balloo brand out there. So we want everyone to remember the Balloo name.
That's not a problem. Okay,
that's awesome.
We're good.
That's really great. So for the appless user, I guess you could say. So applications have become a staple in society. Applications are the little programs that we have on our mobile devices, our cell phones and our computers, and any kind of little program. I guess the real focus, and Naiel, you might want to add more onto this, but the real focus of an application is a small program that you can engage with on a regular basis that really simplifies the way you live your life. So whether it's a calendar application or a time tracker or a game that you can burn a little bit of time with, the spare time that we can find on the bus or
okay. Or and I was brought up slowly. So an app on your phone or even on your desktop begins like it's an icon. Okay, it's the little picture.
Exactly.
I was going to make it sound so simple, but
no, it's perfect.
When I come up with the computers, I come up like I actually inputted DOS-wise. Okay, so when it was an application, to me it was like extreme.
Yeah.
So now how they simplified it now to make an app sound so simple, so easy, and it is so simple and so easy. And what about yours? Is it a free app, as they say?
Absolutely, absolutely. Balloo is a free app. So currently, we're actually, I guess, we're in the beta stages. So I don't know if
okay. And what's it? Explain the beta stage for the viewers that may not know what that
is. Absolutely. So we actually are just finishing up internal system testing. So what that means to the viewer is that essentially, as we're going through the process, we've developed an application. It's one of those little small programs that you'll have on your phone or on your computer, and you'll be able to access this application once it goes into the beta test. And the beta test is basically halfway between our development process and it being available in the App Store, in the Apple App Store.
Okay.
So that beta test, essentially what we're doing is we're testing, we're using back-end servers and computers. We've developed up a lot of code to get the application to be a real thing. All of these apps, all of these images, everything you see online comes from code.
Comes from code, I do understand.
And basically, Brad would be the guy to talk a little bit more about that. He's our director of technology at Daedas, so he's on the back end and the front end working away at developing up that code for the application, and that basically materializes our product, and that's where the product comes from. And that's built up in a series of different computer languages, and as Brad's watching this right now, he'll be laughing for sure that I'm trying to sound technical about it. I'm not the technical director of the company. That's Brad's role. So
okay.
But he would definitely be able to share that on a much more detailed level. But I guess for the general user, the benefit would be this program will be accessible for you to use on a day-to-day basis, and hopefully simplify your life in terms of understanding how you can improve your behavior and as an energy user, cut back on your costs, and do a little bit of good for the planet.
So let's go in steps here. So for to complete your beta testing, what do you need people to do?
So for our beta testing right now, like I said, we've built up the system, and it's running on a group of servers and computers all over the world. And this is
worldwide. This is not Windsor Essex. Okay.
This is not world. This is a worldwide application that will be accessible in the Apple App Store under the name Balloo.
Okay.
And currently, what we're doing is we're collecting beta registration. So people that are interested in the Windsor Essex area and abroad that are interested in signing up at balloo.org. You can get on there today, and this is actually what's rolling behind us here, behind our heads. And it's as simple as, I don't know if this is the camera that's up right now, but it's as simple as getting on to balloo.org, and it's spelled the easy way that we always like to say it. It's balloon without the N.
Balloon without
the N. So that's the easy way to find it. So balloon.org, you're going to go here, drop in your name, and this line here, drop in your email, click on the sign up button, and that's all you really have to do. We'll be sending our users, our beta registration users, an email notification, thanks for signing up, And once the app is actually available and accessible to the general public, you'll get that application and you'll be able to start testing with us. And simply testing means go on there, get on the website, and instead of signing up, you'll be signing in at that point.
Signing in at that point.
Yep.
Okay.
So you put in your, you'll get a username. You'll create a username and a password for yourself. You sign in, and you basically just start using the app. And if there are any problems, we'd love to hear the feedback from the users. We want to engage with you, learn what you love, learn what you're not so hot about, and get on there so we can really refine.
So you can refine it, fine tune it, bring it together.
And that's what the beta test really offers. So we're beta testing the application to figure out what works and what's not quite up to spec yet. And once we have all that information, that's when we're going to develop that, what we refer to as the iOS application. And the iOS application is the app that actually goes into the Apple App Store, and that's our global launch.
But before that, I assume people would really want to know what the app does.
Okay, and that's what I was going to ask next. Okay, what are they, I'm going to say beta testing, but what are they inputting, or what are they what is the questions? It is, I drank 5 bottles of water this week. Like,
we hope not.
Okay.
Yeah, so now we'll explain definitely the back end of
So the basic gist of Balloo, it came out of many, many months of thinking and sort of trying to get people to actually interact with their daily environments. But we want to help people build environmentally sustainable habits. And when they do, we reward them with trees planted in their local community. That is the basic gist.
Okay, very
daily tasks, such as if you go to a coffee shop today, bring in a reusable container. Or before going to bed on those cold winter nights, use an extra blanket instead of turning up the heat. Or for today, instead of driving your car to the grocery store that's 5 minutes away, walk or take your bike.
Do the walk thing. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
just simple things that are non-capital intensive that should have an effect on the environment at hand and make you feel better, which in turn will make the world feel better.
Yeah, and to reiterate on that point, basically, as you do these simple tasks, you accumulate points. And those points are basically used to plant trees. And we're actually planting trees. We're working with the Essex Regional Conservation Foundation and IRCA to plant the trees locally here in Windsor throughout the beta process. So the trees that you're earning through Balloo during the beta test will actually materialize, and we'll be planting real trees here in the Windsor-Essex community. And
I want to add that most people would say, what, so we need more trees here in the community? But at the same time, this is a stat from IRCA. We have currently 8% green cover in the Windsor-Essex area.
What was the percentage again, please?
8%.
8%. Okay, we were called 18. We were called the treeless county for the longest time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so I was going to say, so 8% currently. The UN recommends for each municipality to have around 12%. So we're about 4% off of what the world average is right now.
Okay.
And we're trying to get that even beyond that. Yeah. So we're trying to even get that beyond that, and maybe try to get to about 15%.
Yep. And that's it. And for anybody that, like I said, I've been paying attention to this for years, but due to I think it's problematic that our ozone layer over Ontario and Michigan, and it's probably somewhat due to industrialization, is supposed to be thinner, or had been reported to be thinner. So the tree cover is so very, very important for the residents of Windsor-Essex or even Michigan around this.
Carbon dioxide absorption during the day and oxygen production. Sorry, I'm stumbling a little bit on these chemistry terms here. the simplest of them, right? Oxygen and carbon dioxide. You figure I'd be able to get those out, but the trees are adding a definite value. And what we're seeing with Balloo and with the Balloo users is that these are simple tasks that you can do in your daily life. And these simple tasks actually cut back. Like I said, bringing that reusable mug to the coffee shop, going back to the example, it's one of our favorites. When you bring that mug back to the coffee shop and you're not taking their paper container, you're not just saving the individual piece of paper that makes up that cup. You're actually saving the entire production process, right? The manufacturing, the shipping, the distribution, the garbage collection, and the refinery and recycling process. So if you look at not just the product itself, but it's really important, and as engineers, we have a good understanding of product life cycle. And what does it actually mean to take a raw material and cut down a tree, make the paper, make the cup, get the cup to the store, go through the process and all that. So that whole process is very environmentally damaging. And by taking those processes out, you're already doing something good for the planet. So just using Balloo, you've already done something good for the planet. And then what we're doing is we're actually multiplying the impact. We're rewarding the users even further by offsetting even more carbon, putting a tree in the ground.
For sure. Yeah, you're covering it on both sides.
Absolutely.
So how? Let me do it this way. I don't. You must be doing some drag. How is the beta testing going so far? How interactive are people being so far?
Well, actually, right now it's a good question. We're still in the process of collecting beta registrations.
Okay.
So the beta is not actually open yet. So you're here on time.
Oh, I see.
You're
Okay.
here on time.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, right.
So we want to make sure people get over to balloo.org as quickly as possible and get there. It's really simple. Just your email and your
whatever you want to be called, your name and your email
in there,
and register and start participating in with balloo.org and try to make a good change in the world or assist with.
Yeah, as soon as that registration's open, anyone that's in the system for the early registrations is going to get an email, and they'll be able to try out the app even long before it's in the App Store. And they can help us tailor it. They can send us their ideas. We have info@balloo.org that they can send ideas to, and we'd love to hear from users on what they'd like to see in this type of app because we are the developers. So let's
and again,
let's hear it.
being much I'm going to say I'm going to use the word transparent, more just an aware world. Like people aren't afraid to tell you like if this didn't work or this was good, this was bad.
We
right?
hope not.
So you're hoping, you're hoping to get information.
Absolutely.
Okay. Or yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, information and ideas. You know, as we're going through this process, we're making an app that's user friendly. Like we said, it's about the 3 pillars: people, profit, and planet. So we've got the planet figured out in the environmental aspects and whatnot. Now, getting back to the people, we want to know what people actually want out of an application like this, and to see how they feel that they can help the planet through Balloo.
Okay, so now we're in the registration part. So what's the next step after that, and how long does that take?
So the registration part is ongoing right now, and like you said, people are able to register at balloo.org. And beyond that, we're going to go into the beta testing, and that's a process where we'd like to go in for a few weeks to a few months. And it depends on user feedback. So how many changes actually have to be made,
sure.
And we'll see how receptive people are to the idea. Maybe they love it like this, and we push right out to iOS. And there's a review process that, in order to get an app officially into the App Store, we'll have to go through a technical review process. And we really hope to start seeing the review of this and the kind of user feedback developing up the actual iOS app and getting that into the App Store by the end of the year. And early into 2015.
Okay, we know this sounds like it actually sounds like a fabulous idea going forward, and again shows that just a simple. I'm going to say I shouldn't do that. Simple idea that can expand and become greater, and be able to make hopefully make some fantastic changes to how people live their lives, especially on the green side of things or the eco-green side of things. Because I've seen the transitions. I saw where convenience really became. That's what they thought they were doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. With water bottles, for example, they still thought they were doing the right thing, making it so convenient, like throw away all this other stuff.
And it was throw away your water bottle.
Like don't use water, clean your water bottle.
Don't drink your pop, buy a water bottle. And it was sort
absolutely.
Of like, yeah.
Okay? Yeah. So anyways, I do thank you for being here today, Paolo and Naiel, and I hope to have you back. I hope you have you back in a little bit of time to give me an update on the great success of it, and give me some help on the feedback and things like that.
Definitely, Mike. Thank you for having us, and we'll be back hopefully with good news.
Yeah,
okay,
larger scale.
We'll tune in with your users again to let you know how your feedback was important to us. So balloo.org, get on there and register, and that's
okay, quickly, and they can find it on also Facebook. You also have a Facebook site.
Yeah,
Twitter.
The easiest way to get there is to go to balloo.org, and you can click on any of the icons at the bottom here. Okay. And it'll bring you to the respective social, but Perfect. You can find us on all the
totally interactive. Okay.
At Balloo app.
Okay, excellent. Okay, and this is again this was the Convergence Report live stream from the Downtown Windsor Business Accelerator by Knoxstrom Digital Media through XEast TV, and I will see you next week.